Hello, English learners. Welcome to today's episode of our English Learning Podcast. I'm Adam, and I'm so excited to have you with us. Whether this is your first time listening or you've been with us for a while, we're here to help you speak English with confidence, using real practical lessons you can apply in your daily life.
That's right. No confusing grammar lectures, just simple, useful English that works in the real world. Whether you're a beginner or moving towards advanced levels, we've got something for everyone.
And today's topic is a big one. You understand English when you hear it, you get the meaning when you read it. But when it's your turn to speak, you freeze. Sound familiar?
Oh, yes. So many learners tell us this. I understand everything, but I just can't speak. If that sounds like you, don't worry. You are not alone. And by the end of this episode, we'll show you exactly how to break through that speaking barrier.
So, stay with us. We're sharing real-life tips, personal stories, and some easy phrases you can start using today. Let's get started.
So, Adam, why does this happen to so many learners? They understand English when they hear it, but when it's time to speak, it feels impossible.
That's a great question, Sophia. And I know so many of our listeners can relate. Here's the thing. Understanding is passive. You're receiving information. You can listen, and it all makes sense. But speaking? That's active. You have to produce the words, form the sentences, and get your grammar right, all while thinking fast, under pressure.
Exactly. And it's like driving a car. You can watch someone drive every day and understand what they're doing. But if someone suddenly gives you the keys and says, drive, you freeze. Your brain goes blank.
Yes, and I'm sure our listeners have been in this situation. You're at a cafe. You understand what the waiter is asking. Maybe they say, "What would you like to drink?" You know this, but your mind just goes blank. You panic. Suddenly, you forget all your English.
Oh, I've been there. Or at the airport, you understand the announcements, you get everything. But when it's your turn to speak to the staff, you just smile and nod because your brain is like, nope, not today. Yes. And don't worry. We're going to show you exactly how to practice speaking later in this episode. Key vocabulary and phrases. Recap for listeners. Passive, understanding, receiving information. Active, speaking, producing language. Go blank, when your mind forgets everything suddenly, under pressure, in a stressful situation, feeling nervous.
So, if you've ever gone blank under pressure, don't worry. It's totally normal. And we're here to help you fix it. Stay with us. All right, so we know that understanding is passive, but speaking is active, and that's tough. But let's get real here. What's actually stopping you from speaking? The number one thing? Fear. Fear of mistakes.
Oh yes, that little voice in your head says, what if I sound stupid? What if they laugh at me? But here's the truth. No one cares.
Exactly. I've been there. When I was learning Spanish, I tried to say tengo hambre, which means I'm hungry. But instead, I said tengo hombre, which means I have a man. Everyone laughed. But you know what? I laughed too. And I never forgot that phrase again.
I love that story, Adam. And that's the thing. Mistakes feel embarrassing in the moment, but they actually help you learn faster. You remember those moments because they're funny, they're real.
Exactly. And people respect you for trying. Nobody expects you to speak perfectly. Think about it. When you see someone learning your language, you admire them for trying, right?
Exactly. And honestly, most people don't even notice your mistakes. I remember a friend learning English. She was at a cafe and wanted sugar in her coffee, but she said soup instead. The barista smiled, but they understood. She got sugar, not soup. Everything was fine.
Yes, that's a perfect example. People understand you even when you're not perfect, and every time you try, you get better.
So here's the message. Don't let fear hold you back. Mistakes are good. Mistakes are how you learn. Just speak, even if it's wrong. You'll get better, faster than you think. Key vocabulary and phrases. Recap for listeners. Fear of mistakes. The worry that you'll say something wrong. People respect you for trying. Others admire your effort. You never forget after a mistake. Mistakes help you remember better.
So, what's the takeaway? Mistakes are not your enemy, they're your best teacher. We all make them. So, next time you're afraid, just speak. You'll thank yourself later.
Okay, we've talked about the fear of mistakes and why speaking is harder than understanding. But now let's get practical. You want to speak English with confidence? You've got to start small.
Exactly. You don't need to give a big speech on day one. Start with simple steps. Here's your first challenge. Talk to yourself. Every day.
I love this one. You might feel a bit silly, but it works. When you wake up, describe what you're doing out loud. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm making coffee. I'm getting ready for work. These are simple everyday actions, but you're practicing fluency. You're training your mouth and your brain to work together.
Yes, and here's the second tip. Repeat what you hear. When you watch a movie or even this podcast, pause and copy the sentences.
Oh, I do this all the time. It's called shadowing. You hear a phrase like, "How's it going?" and you say it right after, copying the tone and rhythm.
Exactly. It's like being a parrot. You might feel funny at first, but it really helps your pronunciation and confidence.
So we've got 1. Talk to yourself. 2. Shadow what you hear. What's next, Adam?
Tip number 3. Ask simple questions when you're out. Let's say you're in a shop. Instead of just pointing at something, say, "How much is this?" Or, "Do you have this in blue?"
Yes. Even small questions like that give you confidence. And you realize, wow, people understand me.
And here's a bonus tip. Find a speaking buddy. It could be a friend, a colleague, or someone online. There are so many apps now where you can talk to other English learners.
Exactly. Language exchange apps, social media groups, you can find people just like you practicing English together. It's fun, and you get better quickly.
So, quick recap for our listeners. 1. Talk to yourself. 2. Shadow native speakers. 3. Ask simple questions when you're out. 4. Find a speaking buddy.
These are small steps, but small steps lead to big progress. You're building fluency every day. Key vocabulary and phrases. Recap for listeners. Build fluency. Practice until speaking becomes easy and natural. Shadowing. Copying native speakers to improve pronunciation and fluency. Speaking buddy. A partner to practice speaking with. Start small. Begin with easy, simple conversations.
Remember, every small step you take is making you a better English speaker. Start today. Speak today. You've got this. All right, we've talked about building fluency, practicing every day, and overcoming fear. Now, let's give you something you can start using right now. Simple, everyday phrases. Your tools to survive in any English conversation.
Yes, these phrases are like your safety net. They keep the conversation going even when you're nervous or make mistakes.
Exactly. So, let's start with some easy ones for meeting people. Next time you meet someone, try these. Hi, how's it going? It's friendly, casual. It just means, how are you?
Yes. And when they respond, you can say, "Nice to meet you." That's always a good one.
And if you're curious about someone's job, ask, what do you do? It means, what's your job? Simple, right?
Perfect. Now, sometimes you don't understand what someone says. That's normal. Don't panic. Use these. "Sorry, can you say that again?" Or, "Could you speak a bit slower?"
Oh, and here's one I use all the time. I didn't catch that. It just means, I didn't hear you. It's a natural way to ask someone to repeat.
And what if you make a mistake? No problem. You can say, "Oops, I meant to say." Or, "Oh, sorry, what I meant is..."
These phrases are your lifeline. They help you stay calm and keep talking, even when you don't know every word.
Exactly. Conversations are not about being perfect. They're about keeping the flow.
So, Let's recap those key phrases. Hi, how's it going? Nice to meet you. What do you do? Sorry, can you say that again? Could you speak a bit slower? I didn't catch that. Oops, I meant to say. Oh, sorry, what I meant is.
Write these down. Practice them. Use them today. They're small, but they'll give you big confidence in real conversations.
That's it. Simple phrases, but powerful results. Start using them. You'll feel the difference.
So here's your challenge. Start today. Speak. Talk to yourself in English. Ask a simple question at the store. Message a friend. Just one small step, but take it today.
And remember, mistakes are not a problem. They're part of the process. Every mistake is one step closer to fluency. So, speak, smile, and keep moving forward.
If you found today's episode helpful, share it with a friend who's also learning English. Let's grow this community together. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We've got more practical, real-life conversations coming your way.
That's it from us today. Until next time, keep speaking, keep learning. You're doing great. You've got this. Thank you.